So for example, hello.
My friend,
Hello.
how are you? Welcome to my country.
Thank you very much. So really nice people here. Hey guys, Alessio, hope you're well. In this video, we're going to take a look at this chart of Bitcoin. I'm going to explain to you what this chart and this data, this particular data you're seeing here on Bitcoin actually means. It's going to be quite interesting. Also, I'm going to talk to you about Bitcoin seasonality from the moment of spring. So how does Bitcoin usually perform from the first moment of spring, which is very close to us right now, to December? It's going to be quite interesting. Join me. All right, guys, welcome back. So as you can probably guess, I'm not in the UK right now, not in London. We are actually in Iran. As you can probably recognize Houman here. Houman, my Persian friend here in Tehran. As you probably know, I like to come to Iran at least once a year to help out with the charities. You probably know that Iran has been hit with strong economic sanctions. So obviously it's good to come here, just help out some charities, and also come stay with my friends here, Houman and Sarah. And actually, guys, just to let you know, I'm going to walk in the streets of Tehran. It's really busy here. As you can probably see over here, it's very busy. By the way, you may not know this, but at this time of year in March, especially as we get near to March 20th, it's very close to the Persian New Year, okay? So the Iranian New Year. It's a big thing here in Iran. Isn't that true, Houman?
Yes, it's true.
Yes, guys. So March 20th is the first day of spring, which is the spring equinox. It's a scientific event, of course, as we know. And guess what, guys? Persians have been celebrating the spring equinox, the first day of spring, as the New Year, as the Persian or Iranian New Year. It's one of the few cultures in the world where the New Year is based on a seasonal event. And that is what I'm going to talk to you about today, by the way, about Bitcoin, seasonality of Bitcoin from spring to December. Before we talk about Bitcoin, though, let me also mention that if you do want to visit Iran, I think this is by far the best time to come, you know, around about March time, March 20th, because, you know, people are so happy here. You know, it's like a second Christmas. You know, if you live abroad, if you live in America or Europe or Australia, you know, coming to Iran around about this time of year, March 20th, it's like having a second Christmas. People are happy here, in a good mood. People are dancing in the streets. A few nights ago, I was staying with Houman, as you can probably see here, and they have a celebration event, which is essentially they do fireworks, a bit like the July 4th celebration, you know, in America, or Guy Fawkes Night in the UK. And essentially what people do is around this time of year is they jump over a fire. As you can see here, here's Houman and his friend, and I am here as well, jumping over a fire, as you can see here in this traditional event. By the way, in case you're wondering why we're wearing German football t-shirts, is because Houman here and his friends, they support Germany. By the way, I support England, as you probably know. But of course, I love Germany as well. All right, guys, let's talk about Bitcoin. So I'm sure you want to know what this chart here means about Bitcoin and what this data over here means about Bitcoin. By the way, guys, here, check this out. So look at these. I think this is ornate things that they sell here for the Persian New Year. By the way, at this time of year, people, you know, they go out and they're shopping. You know how they do shopping for Christmas. So, all right, guys. So here's the question I want to ask in this video. How does Bitcoin usually perform from the moment of spring, the first day of spring, to December, Christmas? And that's really what I want to talk about. And that's what I'm going to bring in this chart you're going to see here and this data. It's absolutely fascinating data. How does Bitcoin usually do performance-wise from the first day of spring, the Persian New Year, or the spring equinox, all the way to Christmas, essentially the end of the year, or December 31st. And I got some data here to show to you, which you find interesting, I hope. And by the way, guys, let's cross the street, by the way. Let me just cross the street as we cross. All right, guys. So what I did was I looked back as far as I can go for several years, all the way to 2012. And what I found was that Bitcoin, from the moment of spring, from the first day of spring, spring equinox, March 20th, all the way to December, there tends to be a positive bias. So there tends to be a positive performance about 70% of the time. So we found over the last several years, from 2012 all the way to the last year, 2021, Bitcoin actually does quite well in this period. Again, from the spring equinox, the Persian New Year, March 20th, all the way to December 31st. The black numbers here show positive performance, so when Bitcoin goes up in value, but the red numbers show negative performance when Bitcoin goes down in value. And you'll see more blacks than reds, essentially showing there's more positive return than negative return, which is a good thing. And we found that the median return, guess what, guys? The median return for Bitcoin from the Persian New Year, March 20th, spring equinox, all the way to December 31st is positive. Guess what, guys? The median return happens to be 106% from March 20th, spring equinox, all the way to the end of the year, okay? So that means seasonally, this period, the period from spring, the first day of spring, all the way to December 31st, happens to be a positive period. happens to be when Bitcoin usually, again, based on a median figure, we can see here, 106%, Bitcoin usually doubles in value. That's a fantastic thing. Don't you think that's a good thing, Houman?
Yes.
Oh, by the way, guys, check this out. Look over here. This is some of the things that Persians do, buy goldfish, and I think they're preparing for the Persian New Year, as you can see here. People here are really happy this time of year, despite all the economic sanctions, despite all the hardship and the suffering that's going on here. People try to put on a brave face and go out and buy stuff, for the New Year, the Persian New Year. All right, guys, what was I saying now? What I was saying was that between this period, March 20th, the first day of spring, to December 31st, Bitcoin has a habit, seasonally, of doubling in value. Again, the median return, the median figure is 106%, or about 100%, essentially. The average, the mean average, is about 300%, or 297%, as you can see here. That's what the data shows. But guys, what I'm showing you here is hard data. All right, guys, not guesswork, it's actual hard data based on statistics. So what we're saying, guys, is that statistically and historically, Bitcoin has a habit seasonally of doubling in value, going up 100% between March 20th, first day of spring, Persian New Year, all the way to December 31st. Now, as I'm sure you know, that does not mean it's a certainty. So by no means am I saying it's certain or definite that Bitcoin will go up in value by 100% based on a median figure. It's only a probability based on seasonality. Okay, guys? So seasonality, as I'm sure you know, guys, it's not a sure thing. As you guys know, we're dealing with probabilities, not certainties. And I'm sure you understand that. And I know my viewers here on this channel are intelligent, sophisticated people. I know you know this. Let me also say one more thing, that the 106% is a median figure. That does not mean it's a maximum figure. So Bitcoin may do better than 100% or 106% in that period. It might go up even more than that. For example, in the year 2020, you will notice that Bitcoin went up over 300% in that period, from Persian New Year, March 20th, all the way to December 31st. So again, guys, it's a median figure, it's not a maximum figure. Bitcoin could exceed that number potentially, or actually it may underperform that as well. All right, guys, so let's go forward. I think we're coming on to, this is actually the main square, one of the main squares here. All right, guys, as I was saying before, the data shows that the period, again, from March 20th to December is usually a positive period, but here's the thing. I also tested this as well. As you can see in the second column, I've written down, well, how does it perform when price is below the 200 daily moving average and when price is above the 200 daily moving average? And as I'm sure you know, the 200 moving average is a very key level on Bitcoin and actually most markets. And what I found was actually it doesn't matter if Bitcoin starts out on March 20th or spring, the first day of spring, below the 200 moving average. It doesn't really matter at all. For example, in the year 2015, Bitcoin was below the 200 moving average and it still did quite well, as you can see there. Same goes in 2020. Bitcoin was below its 200 daily moving average, again on the first day of spring, March 20th. And again, it still did quite well, managed to rally higher and get above it and actually do quite well in that period, again, from spring to December. However, guys, we found that the data shows that when Bitcoin goes above its 200 moving average, it's a good thing. So in other words, it's a positive thing. So to improve performance, if Bitcoin can get above and rally above its 200 moving average on a daily time frame, which is approximately 46 to 48K at the moment as I'm making this video, it's a good thing. I mean, if Bitcoin can do that, if Bitcoin can get above its 200 moving average in the next several weeks and months quickly, if you can rally above it, then the probabilities, the odds, potentially improve for Bitcoin to double in value by 100% based on the seasonal data, the seasonal pattern, the seasonal performance, as we discussed, about 106%. Houman is laughing here. I'm not sure what the joke is all about, but apparently people around me, people here are probably making fun of me. Okay, so what we're saying is that, again, if Bitcoin repeats the seasonal pattern, the seasonal performance from the first moment of spring, March 20th, all the way to the end of the year, let's say it happens this year in 2022, which I hope it does. As long as Bitcoin remains above support, as long as Bitcoin remains above 30K support, then, and also I would say, as long as Bitcoin can get above the 200 moving average as well quickly, then the odds could significantly improve for Bitcoin to double in value by the seasonal pattern median, the median of 100% within that period. In other words, the period from March 20th, Persian New Year, to December 31st. Okay, guys? But I would say this, guys. I would say that as long as Bitcoin remains above 30K support, so the major support as we have there on Bitcoin, I still think the odds are good for Bitcoin to reach all-time highs. And that means, guys, if Bitcoin can repeat the seasonal pattern of 100% between the spring equinox, Persian New Year, to December 31st. That means Bitcoin could potentially reach 60K to 70K, potentially 75K by the end of this year, depending on what the price is on March 20th. So for example, hello.
My friend,
Hello.
how are you? Welcome to my country.
Thank you very much. So really nice people here. So as I was saying, guys, if Bitcoin, I forgot all I was gonna say.
2,000 years later.
The bottom line is, oh my God, what's going on? Guys, it's getting really busy here, as you can see. It's getting really crowded. I'm not sure I want to stay long talking here. People are looking strangely at me. Getting a bit paranoid. All right, guys, what that means is this. It means if on March 20th, the Persian New Year, spring equinox, if on the first day of spring, Bitcoin happens to be in the 40K to 35K range, approximately, I mean, I'm just talking approximations here, there's about a 70% probability based on statistics that it could reach likely the 70K, again, the 60K to 75K range, again, potentially towards that all-time high level near 69K, and potentially even overreach that level to the 70, 75K levels by the end of this year. So guys, remember, this is a seasonal pattern from March 20th, the spring equinox, all the way to the end of this year. So that means if this seasonal pattern repeats itself, and as long as Bitcoin remains above 30K, I think there's a good probability, again, a 70% probability that Bitcoin could reach all-time highs, again, going to the 60K, 75K range by the end of this year, by December 31st. Is it a certainty? No, of course not. I could be wrong about this. Again, we could be wrong, but that's why I'm looking at support levels. Support of 32, 30K is going to be very important for Bitcoin. It needs to hold above that level to reach the potential new highs by the end of this year. By the way, guys, what I said in this video only applies if Bitcoin stays above support of 30K. So again, if Bitcoin, it's an if, but if Bitcoin were to drop below support of 30K, then I think the odds, the probability of Bitcoin making all-time highs and following this seasonal pattern, the spring seasonal pattern, would be significantly reduced. So that means Bitcoin has to stay above 30K if we're going to be able to complete this, or indeed repeat this seasonal pattern from spring all the way to December. You looking forward to Persian New Year?
Yes.
He sounds very excited. By the way, guys, join me and Houman on our next video. Together, we're going to explore more of Tehran. Houman is going to show me around more of Tehran. So it's going to be quite interesting. Join us in Houman's channel, Hoomzi. I'll put the link for you guys in the description. So I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Houman's going to show me this beautiful park and this area here in Tehran. Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks,
Thank you very
guys.
much.
Thank you for watching. See you guys in the next video.